Hi all, welcome to the Serie A cheapest SBC guide. This has taken a lot of work to kind of get nailed down. I've been watching a lot of the routes, how they've been playing out, and really try to make sure this is as cheap as possible for you folks. So if you can smash links, be awesome, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GSALegend. All the links are down below for posting the channel and social media links as always. Now I know it's like 2 in the morning, but I thought let's get this up, done and dusted, get this out the way for you. Hopefully you find this super useful. So we start off with Atalanta, which is a 74 rated squad. Small rare gold players pack. I think this is like a 25k pack for what I get the impression and for what I've asked on Twitter. There's not many real players to kind of focus on. The golds are generally straightforward and fairly cheap. Maciel is quite expensive though, he's a couple K. The Goni's not too bad, but the bronze and silver in this team, the bronzes and the silvers, generally you're paying about a K to 1.5 at the very most, sometimes 2 depending on the team. Then Bologna, fairly straightforward. This is a 14-16k spend for this, and same pack again. Nothing too drastically standing out, but as I said, 14-16k. What I've roughly thought was a return for a small rare gold players pack. Because it's 6 players, I thought it was like an 8 to 10k spend, because I imagine you'll at least get one good player in the pack. But the one thing I've noticed, and it's a theme with quite a few of these teams, is the bronze pack method can be utilised. There is a few teams that incorporate bronze players. Clavan's fairly cheap, which is handy, he's only about 500 coins. But silvers, if you're willing to be patient with some of them, some that are like 2, even 3k, I will admit, there is quite a few that are still expensive in some of these teams. If you are patient, you can get them for cheap. Like Cagliari is 15k on the PlayStation, 19k on the Xbox. It's a premium Electrum Players pack, which is a 12.5k pack. It is not worth it in the slightest. You genuinely need to hope and pray that you pack an inform to make the pack worthwhile. Farias is a nippy one. He is a few thousand coins. If he was a gold, I would imagine he would be about a third of the cost. So he'd be like maybe 1,000 coins in the end. The good thing with Chievo, despite only being an Electrum Players pack, which is a 10k pack, 7-8k spend, the bronzes are fairly cheap. The dude up top he was a bronze last year, he's not even had an upgrade I think at all, or he's had maybe even just like a +1, and he's like, if you're patient you could get him for 150. With a lot of the teams I was seeing people build, they were actually playing, say, a right mid, right wing. They were actually trying to play it to position at times, and I was just trying to make sure that these routes could be adjusted as much as possible. Like this route for Empoli, for example, it's a 9k spend for the small rare gold players pack yet again for a 70 rated squad. People weren't putting Antonelli in, they were working around Antonelli, and I was like, oh okay, yeah, this bronze striker you could get for 150 quite readily. And this is the theme with a lot of these players. They're at start price 150, and I know it's like 2 in the morning, but even then, a lot of these players you can buy. If you're able to get them at 150 just now, imagine what they're like a couple of days down the line if there's still a steady supply of players on the market. Fiorentina for a 12.5k pack, which is another premium Electrum Players pack. This is an 89k spend. Drakowski, Malia is another cheap one. Like, there's so many at 150 starting price, even at like 400 you see a common trend. The good thing is that you can get away with this by putting someone like Morales in at centre mid. It gets him 5k, but as long as you play the dude at left back. I've noticed that's the kind of routine that you have to put in place. Frosinone has one of the worst packs going, in the form of a prime silver players pack. It is not ideal. This one took a little bit of work to kind of just nail it down. It was mainly to get this bronze dude in, and this is why he's like one of the cheapest players for the team. He's like 500-600 coins. Saying that, I had seen him go for about 300-400. This other bronze striker is like 600 coins, but it's just patience. Like Frosinone is a 7-8k spend, it's a 5-6k pack. It's nothing drastic to worry about. Genoa, 73 rated for a jumbo gold pack. I was quite pleased to get this really pinned down and cheap. Like people were like, the common routine I was seeing with a lot of players, that people that were doing these routes, worth like 3 or 4k more. There was one route that was about 5k more than what I was putting together, and I was like, how on earth? And this was like the cheapest route at the time, and I was like, this is not difficult. And I think that was for I'm trying to think who it was now. It was like I think it was Bologna or Atalanta it was. But with Inter, this is an 18 to 21k spend for a Prime Electrum Players Pack, so it's a pretty waffle pack for an 80 rated squad. Like, you'd hope even maybe a Mega Pack or a Premium Gold Players Pack, but it's just the Vries all you've got to really monitor. Juventus, in this case, it is just who is the cheapest goalkeepers. If it's Perrin and this dude, then you're fine. If it's Perrin and Chesney, or Chesney and this dude, then you're sorted. It's just literally, there is no other way you can do this squad, I'm afraid. It is literally the way it's been done until either they maybe get transfers in, or suddenly other players drop, or even the UCL cards if they suddenly become a factor. But at the moment, don't expect much with the Juventus route to change drastically. That is a 35k spend, just so you know, for a 35k pack. Lazio, I think it was maybe Lazio now that I think about it a little bit as well. That was quite a big cut. That was like 14-15k, but it was because people were playing the other goalie, not Strakoza, whereas we managed to put this bronze centre mid in who is fairly cheap at times. Then Berisha's not too bad, Belege, and you're not breaking the bank. AC Milan, another fairly okay route, 15k spend for this. This is just more a case of keep an eye on the defenders. Simic is kind of your counter for this. Mauri is another, and then right back is either Abate or Calabria. But then you're not really breaking spend. Masaccio and Caldara, they're not too expensive either. But Napoli, this one gets interesting. 20-22k. At the moment, this is the way you can do it. There is no other way you can possibly do it. The only way I can see possibly being made cheaper is depending on the UCL cards. Like, and also if you're monitoring Karnisis and Ospina, and then Chiriches and Maksimovic. So keep that in mind as well. That's how Mario Rui is in the squad, because he's cheaper than Chiriches. Maksimovic. Got my brain tangled there, joys of 2 in the morning for you. The dude at right back, I would say with Parma, is one of the players you've got to kind of keep an eye on. It's a 12k spend for a mixed players pack, so be fully aware of that. It's like a 5k pack, but it wasn't too bad really. The dude at left wing's fairly cheap. He's like 400-500 coins, but he's one of these players as well. I've seen quite a few people just listing up for like 150 start price and just taking it from there. Roma is a 23k spend for a 45k pack, or the Prime Gold Players pack. I knew I'd put it wrong for Artoan. Obviously you had the foot swap version. I put in his foot swap one rather than the original version. The thing with this team is monitoring the defenders. The bronze centre back is in just now because he's currently cheaper than Fazio, but between Kolarov, Santon, Juan Jesus, Marcano, Fazio, this dude, it's literally whoever's the cheapest back four at the time. As long as you've got 2 centre backs in, then you're fine. It doesn't really matter from there. As long as you've got 2 centre backs, you can work it from there. From Sampdoria, it is mostly a case of Tonelli's being expensive, Raphael's fairly expensive, and this is an 18 to 20k spend. Honestly, you can try your hardest to really wrangle this down. The midfield is where it's cheap. Like, the midfield saves you a fortune. They're like 500, like most of these players, especially Colley's 600, but guys like Saponara, Ekdal, Linetti, you could probably get for 350, 400 if you really wanted to, and it would save you a little bit more on the buy nows. Sassuolo is another one that I managed to really wrangle down. This was 12-13k in fact, now that I've remembered, because people were playing Berardi and other players. We've managed to put in Boateng, who is basically 750 coins, and then just worked around it from there. The 2 left backs, one at left back, one at right back, is not a big deal. Both are fairly cheap. They're they're working out cheaper than the centre backs anyway. Marlon Santos is your only one that's the currently cheapest out of the golds, and then it's not difficult from there. This dude's fairly cheap as well. He's like 600-700 coins, I've noticed, readily, at most 1,000, so you're not exactly breaking the bank. Matry's another fairly cheap player. Obviously he's usually been a gold in previous FIFAs. I think last year he was a silver as well, if memory serves. Then Spal, this is another 8k spend. Just to say with Sassuolo, it's actually worth doing if you can get something worthwhile from your small rare gold players pack, especially if it's 8k. Milinkovic Savic, this is a brother of Serge. I can't remember what his first name is off the top of my head. I wasn't actually precisely looking to check the player's name. I just remember it's Milink. Him or Gomes. Gomes, you usually can find him cheaper on snipes, so be aware of that, especially if overall you want to adjust it, because the midfielders, you can readily change the centre mids accordingly. The silvers and the bronzes, there's I think one bronze centre mid. You can do a bit of playing about with this one. So while we've put in quite a few of the golds, pretty much the midfield, all the centre mids are all generally around the same price. It's just a case of whoever's cheapest at the time. Which is quite good about Spal in this case. It's not too bad for it, even though it's a jumbo gold pack. Torino, I had to play about with this quite a lot. 13 to 15k spend, and what I find, but saying that, a lot of it stems on Matey, who says 2 to 3k on his spend, and same for Alex, the left mid that's in centre mid. These two players, even though it says they're like both 2.5k each, see when you go and check them up, like I bet if you honestly compete on bid with these guys, especially Matey, I would half assume you could get him for less than 1,000 coins, like if you really wanted to try. And then it's not really as bad as 2.5k as it's painted out to be. Like, the good thing is you don't need to put Falke in, you can work around them. Like if you really wanted to, you can put Falke in, but it's not a real big difference. It doesn't impact. It's and as I said, 13-15k spend, it could be, I honestly think it can be done for sub 10, I will be brutally honest. And then the last team is Udinese, which is a 20k pack. It's 12.5k pack, sorry, for a 20k spend. This is only expensive because of the defenders. The right centre back and the right back are extortionate. You're pretty much having to fork out around 4k each for both, and then D'Alessandro at right wing is a couple k as well. So right away you're at a 10k spend, but all the golds are generally around 400, which kind of saves the day a little bit. But as a whole, cannot complain. Like Barak and Teodorczyk and Barami, they're not too expensive, which is saving grace in this case. But as I said, a 20k spend it may be just now, but I'm sure with a bit of patience you can get nearer 15. Now if you've done your rough maths, it works out between 285 and 304k. I honestly, as I've said, with Torino and maybe even Inter for example, and even maybe somewhere like Cagliari, it could be sub 300k. So that's why I honestly feel it is a sub 300k SBC, 427k worth of packs. So it's definitely worth a run, and I would say hopefully you find this useful, folks. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of the SBC. Smash likes always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at GZLegend, and I will catch you all later.